Let's have a look at what to do when you find what you think is a bug in one of the tools, either WinDev, WebDev, or WinDev Mobile. The first thing to do is to isolate the bug. You want to make sure that the bug is coming from the tool and not from some other code. For that, you have to simplify the problem. It's clear that it's not simple. When you have a bug, you first think it's in your code, then you think it's in theirs, and then you think it's in yours. It's a messy process. But if you think that there is a bug in the tool, you have to make sure that it's really in the tool and not coming from you making something stupid in your code like we all do. When you do that, when you isolate the problem, very often you understand what's going on and you find a way around it so you're not blocked. So it's really a process that is going to help you. And really what you need to do is to be able to repeat the problem with just a few lines of code, not the whole process, not the whole thing, not a very complex window or page, really just a few lines of code. That's your target. Then you're going to report it to PCSoft, and to report it you're going to use their tool. They have a special tool done especially for that. It's organized as a without a different step with all the information that they need. So use it. Don't just send an email or just start whining on a forum that there is a bug. Use their tool. That's the right way to do things, and it's going to help you in the long term. So their tool is available in the help menu, also in WinDev, WebDev, and mobile. In the help menu, the tool is called Request to the Technical Support. You can also use it to suggest improvement, a new function, and all that, but mostly I use it for bug reporting. Now, when you use that tool, it's not enough to have their wizard and just answer that question with 3 words. You have to be extremely precise. Think of the developer that is on the other side, is exactly in the same situation than you are when your end user is giving you information. So don't be an end user. Really send them everything they need to know, how to do it, what is going on, where, in which part of the program, what are the error messages, really everything. So really don't behave like an end user who tells you just, oh, your program is not working. How? Where? And you have to extract each piece of information from them. It's really not workable, and PCSoft is not going to do that. They're just going to tell you, if you don't give them enough information, we're not able to reproduce the problem, and they can't reproduce it, they won't solve it. So it's in your interest to really do a good job at that level. Of course, you want to send them your test isolation project. When I was saying in the first step that you have to isolate it first, what I'm doing is I'm creating an empty project and just putting in it the few elements to reproduce the problem. This way I'm sure that it's coming from there and not from something else. So and once I was able to isolate the project, I have something that I can send to PCSoft to reproduce very easily. So your project could be really a one window or one page project with basically one button, and in the code of that button you click on it and you have the error. It doesn't matter if the error is displaying an error message or just doing something with a funny result, not the result that should be happening, but that's basically what you need to send them. You need really to send them something extremely precise and give them step-by-step instruction on how to reproduce the problem and what the problem is. When you send them a product like that, you tell them, okay, open my project, do a test on the project. There's only one page, there's only one button. You click on the button and you will see this appearing. Now if you look at the code, you will see that in fact it's not what should be happening. What should be happening is that, and the code itself is only a few lines. if you do that, and I'm not kidding here, if you do that, you can get a correction literally in days. I have gotten patches in just 2 or 3 days after they receive my communication. They don't want to have bugs in their product any more than you want. But you have to understand that they are working on a very complex project, and if you don't help them isolate the problem, well, you're just not going to get what you want. So also follow up on the bug. Don't just leave it like that. Maybe they're going to give you a correction in days, and maybe it's going to be only in the next version of the product. Now, if it's not in the next version of the product, you should tell them about it and tell them, okay, this bug is still here. And for that, you need to follow up on your own bugs. To do that, personally, I made a tool. It's just a little WinDev program where when I use their tool, the request technical support, I use their copy to the clipboard thing. In my tool, it's pasted automatically in the new bug form, and all the different parts are extracted automatically, and that's it. After that, I have the date, I can paste in their answers and all that. I know if it's resolved or not. So if you want the tool, just ask me for it. I'll be happy to send it to you. It's just a small thing, but it can help you at the same time manage this kind of problem. A very important step is to know what to do when you just don't know something. You need to do something in your development tool. It doesn't matter if it's WinDev, WebDev or mobile. You need to do something you just don't know where to start, how to manage this kind of problem. So what do? Well, you learn how to use the help. The help tool that is coming with WinDev, WebDev and mobile is extremely powerful. You will find tons of information. It's your best and should be your only starting point when you're working on something that you don't know how to manage. Oh, my preference is to use the local, not the online version of the help. Because I find it much more searchable. Now, it's possible that you don't even know that there are 2 different versions of the help. Let's have a look here in WinDev. If you go in the tools, in the options, in the general options of WinDev, and you go on the help tab, you will have the choice between utiliser l'aide en ligne, not translated in English, too bad, which means use the online help. And in some cases, clearly it's even possible to not use the standard PCSoft server, but another one. I'm guessing that is for the very big company who have a lot of licenses. Or you can use the local help database coming with your tool. And by default, it is the online help that is now used. I suggest that you change that to the local help database, and I'm going to show you why. Another option that is available and not a lot of people know about is that you have the choice between displaying the help for all the products or for the current product only. So if you're in WebDev, it's going to display the help for WebDev. If you're in WinDev, the help for WinDev, and so on and so forth. Depending on what you're doing, it may be better to have all the options. This way you can see that something is available in WinDev but not in WebDev. So maybe your solution is to use a WinDev utility even though you're working with WebDev. Sometimes it's better to focus on just what you're doing and not have any idea of what the other options are. So that is entirely up to you and your specific case. But you should use the local help database, and I'm going to show you why. Let's have a look at the help and specifically at the 3 upper left buttons. So the help itself is here. When you do F1 or just open the help via the help menu, you will find that. the first thing that you have to look at is these three buttons: summary, index, and find. Let's click on the first one, summary. So the summary button is going to give you everything that the helps contain, organized by groups. By example, if we have a look at in the summary, W language, managing the standard control and function, and standard features of W language. Let me show you. So this is W language, managing the standard control and function. Sounds easy enough. And when you deploy that, you have the standard feature of W language. Okay? And there you go. Here you will find the groups of function. You want to work on USB function. You click on that, and these are all the functions that are available for USB. You want to work on managing the errors, and to manage the error, this is going to explain to you how to do that. So all this is done. Recycle bin, look at that, there are 4 functions just for the recycle bin. Certificates, right, all that to manage certificates. So the first thing that you do is you look at all the different group of functions, see if you can find what you're looking for. And most of the time you're going to just in that general page here find what you're looking for. You see here you have some specific thing for printout, XLS, and XML. You go back to the standard function W language, handling your XLS files, and you see, okay, XLS document, XLS open, and so on and so forth. And everything is described logically by a group of functions. So that is already extremely powerful, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you just didn't know about it. Now, the second button is the index button. In my opinion, it is the less powerful of the 3 buttons. It allows you to search on one keyword alphabetically, and it is the default option. Let's have a look. It's this one. It's how the help appears when you open it, and here you have to type something. So if you type USB, you will see everything that is in USB. So in my opinion, it is the less powerful because you have to find the right keyword to find the proper the proper information. Unfortunately, it's not easy to find the keyword that they are using. Sometimes it's not obvious, especially in English, because of course we had the translation problem, and what you would think is the proper naming is sometimes not the one they have chosen. So for that it's a little more difficult to use, but once you're here, look at what you have: disconnect a device, drive of a USB key, find a device, property of a device, language of USB device, find property, USB port, and you have everything that concerns USB, including pages that tells you how to manage this and that, and so on and so forth. So really you're going to have a lot of information available even with that function, the index function. Even though I think that it's the least powerful of the 3, it's the one I'm using the most because, well, I'm kind of used now to the system and I basically know the keywords, so I find my information very easily. Now there is a third button, and the third button is for the find function or the search function, depending on how you want to call it. It allows you to search on many keywords at the same time, or several keywords. Many may be a little too much. It is really the most powerful because it allows you to search not only in the help itself, but also in the list of LST's article. For those who don't know, the LST is the Lettre du Support Technique. It's a quarterly publication made by PCSoft. At the time I'm recording this course only in French, even though they are studying the possibility to do it in English too. And there are very good example and information on how to do this and that and all that. Now, one thing that you need to know is that even if you don't have a subscription for the LST, it's also possible to buy just one LST on the PCSoft French website currently. So if you're looking for something and there is an LST that is already doing that, there's a whole example on how to do that, it may be a very good investment to buy that LST and just take the code. Even if it's in French, you know that you can translate the code from French to English just by going into the code menu and say translate in English, and all the instructions are now in English. So it may be a very good starting point and a very good investment for you to just do it that way. It will also search in the examples, all the examples that are coming with WinDev, including the old example that came with the old version, in the did you know information, in the FAQ information. Let me show you. When you go on the third pane, you can type as many keywords as you want in here, and you will see here, that's the important thing, either you only look in the help, and that in that case is going to be on your local machine, so you don't need an internet connection for that, or for all the other LST example, available example, did you know it, PCSoft FAQ, or in everything. For that it will look all that online on the PCSoft website and give you all the results below that, and then after that you can of course have a look. So if we again use USB as an example, and we ask in the help, it is going to give you everything that is talking about USB, even the pages are not directly USB. See, let's switch on. Clearly it's not directly a USB function, but there is somewhere in there the word USB, so it is giving it to you. So you have a very good way to find what is the correct keyword that is used by that is used by the help. You use one keyword to search. It's not the one that they are using, but they're probably talking about it in the help itself. Now, if you do an all here and do a find, it's going to take longer, of course, because it's going on the web to find everything. But it's going to tell you, okay, in the documentation found 36. In this, well, that's not normal, 0. I probably have an internet connection problem, because it should find some results. There are example with USB, so it should find some results. So here I have clearly a little problem. Normally it will find it for you. So this is extremely powerful, and I really think that you should take the time to learn to use the help, because it will really give you a lot of return on investment. So it is extremely powerful when you don't know the right keyword, because it will allow you to find the right keyword, and after that to solve your problem. To continue on the chapter of the help, when you don't know, learn to use the help. There are more things that you can do with the help than what we just saw. The first error that I see again and again with people who start to use the help is that they don't read the whole section. And by that I mean this: when you're working, you start working on the USB function, you say, okay, but clearly that's the USB property that I need. But they don't read all the other functions that are available, either through here or here. Going here and doing in USB. If I start working on USB and I've never done that before, I'm going to look at all the the help page one after the other, just in order to be sure that I know everything that is available to manage that. That will allow me to say, okay, now I was thinking of doing things that way, but because this is available and that is available, I may be able to do it in another way that is more interesting for me in the long term. You can do that only if you read the whole section. Now, that's not enough. The second problem that I see again and again, also everybody does that, is that people just do not read the entire page, and especially they don't read the notes at the bottom. Let me show you. If you go to any function, USB find, you have the help itself here, and you need to read the whole thing. Each option, property, what it does, what are the different settings and all that. And then you have here the notes. And in the notes, they are going to tell you what is going to bite you in the ass. In order for a device to correspond to the sort criteria, property must contain all the specified word 1, 2, or 3. The search is not case sensitive. If you don't know that, you're going to just run into the wall and have exactly that problem. There's a reason why they're giving you the notes here. Also, what they're telling you here is which DLL is going to be necessary for that. So if you have a problem, your USB functions are not working when you install your program, it's probably because you did not install this with it. And then very often at the end of the page, also not on that page of course, but at the end of a page, would you please switch over, thank you, you will get not on that one either, you will get, look at all the things that you need to. Here, new in version 18, new things. And in some cases, so clearly not all the time, but in some cases you will also get a list of the examples that are available and that are talking about a problem. So you can directly go into the example and look at the code and learn how it's working. But you can do that only if you go at the end of the page for each of the page. You need to read the whole thing. Now, you should also, once you've done all that, have a Columbo moment. You remember this detective in the series on TV? It was always ask this question, then leave, and say, oh, just one more question. Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. When you think you know, you've read the whole section, you've read the entire page, you should ask one more question. And to do that, you should use the top right button, See Also. This is here in the help, See Also. Because this is going to give you a list of different things that are related to your current page. And it doesn't matter which page you are on. If you are on the USB find, you will see Also, the list of all USB function. If you are on the use of WD API, you will go See Also, converting a declaration of C function or structure, and so on and so forth. You will see all the things that they think is related and that you may need to know. And you should go in all that and read that too, because it may be again another way of doing things, a better way or an easier way for you. So it's everything that is related and you need to read that too. Okay. Now, what is happening when you think you know? Because up till then we are talking about all the cases when you don't know how to do something. Well, when you think that you know how to do something, you should still read the help. Why? Well, because things evolve. There's a lot of jokes running around about the 900 the new functions that are popping up every year. In fact, if you look at the details, there are probably 2 or 3 times as many functions as that are popping up. Now, it may not be a new function, but it's going to be a new parameter value possible for a function, or a new syntax. Lately I discovered that the API function had 2 new syntaxes that I had never heard about. I read the help file again and said, oh, okay, now you can do that this way too. But why did they add this function? That's because there are cases that you could not manage with the old syntax. New cases. So, new way of doing things. So things evolve. There are new functions, there are new options for the function, and you need to read the help, otherwise you're missing up on things that you may need. And think that you may need why? Well, my old way of working was working, so I don't need any change in it. Maybe, but maybe the thing that you're connecting to is going to use the new thing and your old system won't work. You won't know if you don't read the help. You should, and I can tell you that I do.